Thank you, everybody, for joining us back here at the Crypto Companies channel. We're sitting here once again with the co-founder and chief executive officer of the company, Mr. Ron Levy himself. And Ron, the markets have been tumultuous lately, to say the least. How are you holding up over there?
We're doing just fine. We're not directly impacted, which I'm really thrilled about, obviously, but I'd like to have the company get a little pat on the back since it's not really an accident, but but it's painful to watch. For me, it's kind of got some mixed emotions, and that's when I zoom out and look at the long range in front of us. I see some real positives, but this moment in time, I think it's really unfortunate for the industry, and on many levels, it's very, very sad. Um, and it's going to be very interesting watching it all unfold, and it's we're not done yet. I mean, this year we've had issues with Celsius, Voyager, Three Arrows Capital, and now FTX, and
Yeah.
that's over the last, I don't even think it's 6 months. I think it's less than that, but not a very long time, and I would suggest that there's more dominoes that are going to fall.
Yeah. On top of that, with the whole Terra Luna issue too, one of the actual just cryptocurrencies kind of collapsing there as well.
How could I
Um,
not mention that? It was
yeah.
massive, and a lot of people got hurt very badly.
Yeah, I always while I am very largely a fan of cryptocurrencies and blockchain technology as a whole, I do recommend I try to give a word of caution when you're entering any sort of speculative area, so to speak. And on the same vein, while this has been very hard, this is just going to show that there's lots of room still for things to grow. There's lots of maturing that needs to be done in the industry, and I overall am still positive.
I'm really glad to hear you say that. And I live in different worlds within the industry, just personally and my interests wise. And for instance, this week I was at a relatively private event, midweek, one of the evenings, and it was primarily Bitcoin maximalists, and I am not a Bitcoin maximalist, but I hear their belief systems and what they talk about, and there's a lot I agree with there, and I really get it. As a matter of fact, there's nothing I disagree, very little I disagree with there, but I will put onto it. There's lots of utilities from other cryptos and blockchains, and uses I see coming down the road that aren't even here yet that are pretty fantastic. But uh, it's the landscape is still very, very vibrant. I mean, it was a room full of funds and people investing their time, and there was certainly a lot of money in the room and some pretty heavy hitters. You would know some of the names if I
Mhm.
mention them, but I won't do that to them here. And um, it's fascinating to watch. It's these different worlds, and it's almost like you can reflect back on. You can go to the early '90s, but let's just go to the dot-com bust in 2000. That became something, right? I
Yeah.
just called it the dot-com bust. Everybody knows what we're talking about. Everybody knows, may not know all the granular details, but they know generally what happened. It was a bunch of companies that got out either on the public markets or private markets, and they were treated like they were genius because of what was to come, not what they had. And millions and millions of dollars of funding went in, and all in one go, that bubble burst.
Yeah.
And that was a moment in time. And I would think that we're kind of in one of those moments now, and history will show. And I might be wrong, but um, this was pretty bad. The Sam Bankman-Fried was very visible in the industry, but not just in the industry, outside of the industry.
Mhm.
He was in front of Congress numerous times. I don't know, a half a dozen times, something like that. And he was the guy that could be trusted. He was looked at as the one that was coming forth, young genius, built this
Good
huge company,
reputation.
and
Yeah.
would really, really give it the credibility. And think about there was plenty of funds that were backing FTX. I mean,
Yeah.
Sequoia had over $200 million there, and lots of other funds have funds deposited there, and they're in jeopardy now. And we're doing this interview just a few hours after they filed bankruptcy, and Sam resigned from FTX, so it's brand new. We're right in it. Um, so I think I talked to many people in the industry like myself. I mean, I did not see this coming. And the maximalist the other night would have said, of course you should have seen it coming. And,
Yeah.
I'm willing to have that debate.
Yeah.
But I'm not the only one. I've talked to some people that are very, very high in the industry, and they did not see it coming. These big funds did not see it coming. Um, and it becomes a very unfortunate moment. And maybe in the long run, I have to step away from the pain because there's lots of people with lots of money that are in jeopardy, and that affects people's daily lives, and many of them. So we will never forget that, or nor will we you give up our empathy there, because it's very important. Industry wide, and looking at it from a higher lens, this is the washing out that's going to build things in the future. And I just hope we take the right lessons from it. And that is, there's laws. And if some of the rumors are true, and Sam and FTX did some of the things that are rumors, there's plenty of laws that will catch up to them. And if he didn't, fantastic. But we have plenty of laws in the books that they will have to answer to. And that's a very important statement, because you can go from here to talking about, well, did the regulators do their job? There's plenty of traditional businesses that went down these roads and blew up too. So you have to hold the individuals accountable, both the people, I'm generalizing now, not even directly FTX, both the people at the top, and then people within the company at different levels, because sometimes the people at the top don't know of bad doings, in mid levels. And I'm not suggesting that's the case here now. I want to make sure it's very clear. I'm just giving examples, but it's about ultimately the individuals being accountable to make these decisions and do these things. And that's laws. And if they are, then please hold them accountable. We want our industry to be rock solid, and we know it's not there yet. Of course it's not. But as an industry, I would say we like to hold the individuals accountable that do bad things, because it hurts all of us. And more importantly, it hurts all the people that can benefit from blockchain down the road. That will happen. But it slows it down and creates hurdles, and we just don't like any part of that.
Yeah, I mean, well said in both regards. That one, first off, traditional businesses can fail catastrophically too. It has happened a lot. And two, there's unfortunately bad players in any business venture. And hopefully that isn't the case. As you had said, the smoke has yet to clear in this situation. But as it does, hopefully we can kind of see and find something we can all learn from one way or another.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, even this week I spoke at an event. It was a couple of dozen women, everyone was from a different country, and they were either representing their governments or one step away to learn about blockchain and see how it could help their governments. And we had Morocco and Egypt and Philippines and Mexico and Cook Islands, and list goes on and on, Argentina. Like I said, maybe a couple dozen of them in the room. And the conversation was fantastic, because what they're looking for, which I absolutely believe gets delivered by blockchain, is systems that'll create more transparency. And some of them said that they want to create transparency for their governments because it's lacking now. It creates devaluing currencies that they have, and lots of other issues and problems, and reduces inclusion from their citizens, right? How do you go from someone that doesn't have in those environments and raise yourself up? I would suggest in some of those countries for many, many, many years, you can't. They don't have the opportunities a lot of other countries have. And they're looking this as the possible solution. And I think that that's actually really powerful, and they're wide open to looking at these changes. So I also don't want to mix up crypto with blockchain directly, because there's plenty of blockchain applications that are absolutely gold, and they're not necessarily tied to cryptocurrencies, the price of Bitcoin, and all the things that get the headlines now.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Again, blockchain technology, the amount of use cases in it are enormous, and essentially the reason why the sectors they get the attention that they happen to is largely because of the tantalizing effect of a speculative asset that can potentially increase in value so much. But that's literally that's not even the cover page when it comes to blockchain technology. There's a lot of different use cases, from healthcare to agriculture to just basic day-to-day commerce for smaller shops worldwide, third world countries being able to come more online. There's a whole world under there, Ron. Whole world under
Absolutely right. And and I'm really proud of the work the crypto company's done, because frankly, we were one of the first publicly traded companies. And why did we do that? and we did it very early, is because we wanted to bring transparency to the industry. And I still think it's incredibly important. And this week, proves that out without any
Yeah.
doubt. And I'm proud of the fact that we did that. We've taken our lumps. We've had quite a journey due to being very early and having that belief. But I do believe that that transparency being brought to the industry will serve the industry well and our company well. And I'll venture out, even Coinbase.
Mhm.
You have FTX on the one hand, where things were not transparent and we don't know what happened, but maybe bad things happen there. And then there becomes a lot of victims of that. A
Mhm.
company like Coinbase decided to take an exchange public and basically open up their books and show their books. And that was a really big deal. And I can't imagine it was an easy decision. It was a tough
Yeah.
decision. And I'll pat them on the back all day long saying, I think you helped the industry. Now we can have the debate about a centralized exchange and a decentralized exchange, and it's very valid.
It's a whole
I
other
think
video, Ron. That's a whole
yeah,
other video.
yeah. But as it goes for the industry, Coinbase going out there early, becoming public at its size that it is, and sort of breaking new ground. I think as an industry, we should be very thankful for that.
Well said. Well, Ron, thank you for coming on. Let's turn the talk back to the crypto company. Any other recent developments you want to end on before we leave today?
Yes, the educational side, especially with the events of this week, becomes critical. If you're going to look at blockchains and even cryptocurrencies, I think it's very important you at least have basic knowledge of how the whole darn thing functions. And we teach that. And I think it's really critical. And we are doing many things within the company. And we are, very bullish on the growth that exists within blockchain education, and the fact that, my opinion is we are the number one in the world based on the enterprises that we deliver our services to. And I don't think anyone else has a list anywhere like that. And I'm very, very proud of it. And I think all in all, these events, I don't know if I can go as far as saying they actually help us, but I think I can go as far as saying I don't believe they hurt us. And I think the growth that's available to us with our position in the industry is pretty exciting.
Agreed. Well, Ron, listen, thank you so much for coming on today and sharing your insight into the markets. And thank you for providing the update on the crypto company as well. If anybody has any questions or their own insights into these events, let us know. We'll happily interact with you. But for now, stay tuned for another update coming soon. Ron, please have a wonderful day.
You too, Michael, and thank you very much.